Welcome to this week's episode of Two Bitches and a Broom podcast. Thank you for joining us on the topic of the week, which we are going to get into NPC and glitches in the Matrix. Um, Words are wording for me this week, so you have to excuse
This is
me.
a shadow phase of
Words
retrograde.
are
Can we
really
blame that?
wording. Um, so yeah, NPC and glitches in the matrix. I think that's something that is becoming part of the mainframe, right? When you say that more people are experiencing, even non-metaphysical, non-spiritual people are having these experiences.
Absolutely. I think it's all over social media, different people's experiences. Um, so for people who do not know what NPCs are, they are non-player characters or bots that manifest in different various forms. They play roles in both virtual and real world settings. And a lot of people are saying they are experiencing that within their personal reality. So yeah, just in case you guys wanted to know what NPC was,
Yeah.
because if you're an old girl like me, you're like, what are those things called that everybody's referring to them as? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's it's interesting because I've seen quite a bit of videos talking about this and capturing these experiences, and from quite a bit of people who don't seem to be in the metaphysical world, just catching an oddity on camera, like questioning what the
Yeah.
hell is happening, you know?
Yeah.
Um, which is fascinating. You know what it makes me think of too when this topic, when I would see this, of the mindset or the belief that nothing outside of your realm of perception exists. So
Mhm.
your realm of awareness exists. And it makes me kind of feel like when I see that kind of stuff, like, wow, this is like the Truman Show in real life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like happening.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Um, and for anybody who doesn't understand what glitch in the matrix is, that is referring to like those peculiar, unexplainable moments that seem to defy the laws of physics or logic, to what we know or understand of our reality. Honestly, I think these, especially now, these anomalies, they've fascinated people for ages. But recently, now we're seeing scientific and philosophical discussions surrounding some of these seemingly paranormal, unexplained events. So, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
we're seeing them more and more and more and more and more. I mean, I have my own that I can absolutely concretely, and I have video and photographic evidence of mine
Hmm.
because that's the kind of person I am, like, oh my God, this can't be real. But there also are events where I don't have photographed. I have no way, because I think I was so caught off guard. Like that wasn't even my mind. Like, oh, I should grab my phone and record this. That was the last thing on my mind. It was like,
Hmm.
this can't be for realsies, you know, like
Right. See,
this can't
that
be the
happens
image.
to me.
Yeah.
I get too caught up in the moment that I fumble for my phone, and by the time I'm like it has passed. But and it I was just sharing before we started recording this too, just my experience yesterday going through a drive-through, two different drive-throughs, and the odd, eerie feeling of leaving those both drive-throughs and thinking, I think I just encountered NPC characters.
Yeah.
Like because it was just and my logical brain starts to go, okay, well, let's break this down. Like it was make it make sense, basically, justify your reasoning for this. So both my brains are having a discussion. But it was two separate drive-throughs, three totally different individuals. And in that span of that time frame, it was I drove away with such a like odd, eerie feeling of that I don't it was just so robotic.
Mhm.
And, I mean, like we're energy readers.
Mhm.
And so well, I gotta be quite frank in the very beginning, the first instance being the type of workers that we are, I was like, what's going on here? Is there something else peculiar? And I couldn't find anything. But then I landed on I think I just encountered robots.
I think I just
Basically, I think I
encountered.
just encountered robots at the drive-through. But glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I think that like you were referring to the Truman, the Truman Show. Uh,
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of people that lean into that explanation that it's the simulation hypothesis. You know,
Right.
um, that there's this advanced digital simulation. Glitches happen when there's a flaw or a bug in the programming. There's so many theories, all of them, which I find absolutely
Hmm.
fascinating.
I entertain all of it because I'm
Yeah,
like, all of it
yeah,
is so interesting. All of it's so cool.
yeah. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of visual discrepancies, I think.
Hmm.
There are people experiencing time loops. There are people who experience, uh, like myself, where the entire law of physics momentarily checked out and broke down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was hiking with my daughter, and again, have it on video. We're walking, and as we're walking, there is a leaf that is suspended in midair right where we walked. There is absolutely nothing around it. Um, I have nothing to gain from lying or making it up, or there's no trickery with it. It was just insane.
Hmm.
Um, I've had two instances where we have been in the middle of walking and everyone around us stopped. Now, hear me when I say I would understand. I would probably go, wow, I experienced something metaphysical because they all stopped and I was moving, but if my person that I was with experienced that too, that's weird. Please
Right.
make
Yeah.
that make sense, you know? Just very unusual, weird, just weird, crazy things. Um, we saw a bird that was literally flying, but it was completely upside down and it just was like hanging, chilling there for a second. And then it continued. It was just weird. It's just weird stuff. And I'm like, what is going on? Why am I experiencing it? And I think that we are seeing the breakdown of the illusion that we have created. That's my belief.
Hmm.
We're just
Hmm.
seeing the breakdown of the illusion, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think too, we see it more. My thought process and my belief goes, we're seeing it more and more now again because the breakdown of illusion, the veil thinning, but it's also leading more individuals to question their own illusion and their own realities, right?
Yeah.
Opening up. And I feel like, and this is probably just my belief system, but I feel like it's also a gateway in that road to back to centeredness, back to oneness, right? Because if somebody experiences this glitch in the matrix and then they start questioning their own reality and their own meaning of life, just like one
Mhm.
thing leads to another. What a great opening for alignment for that individual,
Sure.
breaking free of that kind of stuff, so
Yeah.
I look at it that way too, especially when I see individuals who are not in the metaphysical or not spiritual or not any of these things
Yeah.
experience that. It shakes up, your sense of reality. And I feel like that's also happening more too, especially like the time loops and the lapses,
Yeah.
I remember like I had cleaning up the kitchen and the dining room, and I know I may sound nuts, and I thought I was for a second, but I'm picking stuff up. I think we were just finishing dinner or finishing a game night or something, cleaning stuff up. I know I specifically, there was one red solo cup left on the dining table, and I picked it up, took it around the corner to the recycle, and then, I'm easily distracted. So other things, putting stuff away, round the corner, and the red cup is still there. And I stopped and I was like, okay, I know me. I know I'm easily distracted. I
Yeah.
know I squirrel brain, but I know I put that cup in the recycle already. And I feel like those kinds of things, like I've been hearing more experiences of people having instances like that happen too, which again, I love it. So I entertain all of the thought processes behind it and the belief systems and all of the reasoning for it. I want to hear it all. I want to hear what you think about it. I want to hear what they think about it. What do
Right.
we all think about it?
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, fun time.
I I've had a lot of unusual experiences, but I think it's important that in my opinion, that we sit back and we go, wow, that's so interesting. That's so interesting. However, I still got to pay my mortgage. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, we also have to keep that in mind too. Is it interesting? Yes. Is the world ending? No.
Right.
I have to make that disclaimer. I think it's necessary because there's so many people that are like, oh my gosh, this is the 1676th sign. And
Mm,
no, I think we're more and more people are becoming aware. I think more and more people, when I say aware, I mean aware that there's more out there than what the previous notions were,
mm-hmm.
whatever that
Mm-hmm.
limitation was.
Yeah.
Um, I think that if you believe in science, if you believe in quantum entanglement, uh, which I'm gonna dumb this down as best as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So if I touch this object and I exchange energy with this object, and then I go across the room, I'm still actually energetically with that object, right? I can still have force and move that object, will that object. I'm still entangled with it. I can do the same
Mm-hmm.
thing with people, places, whatever. So if you believe in that theory, which is a proven, well-known theory, then you have to believe that we're having some effect on the universe around us when we become more aware of our previous notions were very limited, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we're affecting it and we're seeing that affected around us. Do I think it's super cool? Absolutely. Do I think it's very interesting? Absolutely. From a philosophical standpoint, a scientific standpoint, from just being a human breathing standpoint, super interesting. But nothing's ending, bro. Nothing's ending. It's just getting more interesting, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This rock is just becoming more fascinating the more that we the more that we trudge along. But I think that's a really great point of acknowledging that experience because it's expanding your awareness. Again, like you were talking about in the limiting belief system, whatever it is that it means for you,
Mhm.
in having that experience. But we still have to exist, and we still have to live our lives and follow our own path, right? Again, the old adage of stay in your own lane,
Yeah.
focus on your own self. You know, you move in your alignment and everything when you stay in your own lane. You advance in your path when you focus on your own lane. Everything else around is just a cool show to watch,
Yeah.
experience, watch.
Yeah.
It's not all cool, not all going to be, nice and fascinating and pretty, but at the same time, it's outside circumstances nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people, which is so frustrating for me. They'll be like, "Are you experiencing this, 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 this?" Oh, it's ascension. And it's like, no, it's not. Why are you lying to these people? Do you feel like you're clouded? Do you feel like the world is fake to you? That's not an ascension symptom, bro. That's
Mm-mm.
that I don't know where that came from, but I'm seeing that pop up on social media where people are saying that. Oh, do you feel like the world is fake? That's an ascension. No, it's not. Who I don't know
Mm-hmm.
who told you that or where you got that from. But that is not a thing, chicken wing. It just isn't. It is not a thing. No,
Not if we're talking about ascension symptoms. That doesn't
no.
line
I
with
think
with
that's
that.
tearing down the illusion.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely believe that. It's tearing down the illusion. It's almost like, those commercials where they talk about if you take this medicine, it's going to do these 568 things to you.
Oh, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? That's how I
Yeah.
feel about it. It's like, no, gosh, quit blaming everything on ascension. It,
Yeah.
it's stop. No, sometimes it's just things in the world. Sometimes that's what
Yeah.
it is. We are evolving spiritually as a whole. The
Mm-hmm.
more that people, it's kind of like the hive mind. You've heard of that, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep.
Where you have a whole bunch of people that are, thinking or doing one thing. That's a lot of energy that's going towards that. That's going to have a spiritual evolution when you're, dealing in the realm of spirituality. And that energy is pushed out around
Mm-hmm.
everything. And then you have the
Mm-hmm.
results of that, which I think are um, what people are calling glitches or um, awareness.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I do believe if you believe in the notion that we already had this life planned out before we came here, we have very specific characters that are playing these roles to assist us in learning our lessons, then there's gotta be NPCs. There has to be, right?
Right.
I mean,
We
really,
need
did we
fillers.
sign up? Yeah. Did we sign up 800 people to be like going through the drive-through at Taco Bell? Probably
Oh
not.
my God. Can you imagine
Yeah.
having to set up those contracts and like each
You're gonna
like
drive through at 12:08 on Thursday. You know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna do
yeah.
that.
Can you
So,
imagine? And yeah, it has. I do align with that notion of there has to be fillers of some sort. Because again, with seeing these and experiencing what I experienced myself in my own, it brings up because I love to question everything. I love to riddle me this, Batman. How does that happen? Um, thing. And that is a topic of conversation with my guides too, of, you know, you are going through experiencing the stuff you're set to experience per, your life and your journey, whatever it is that you're doing.
mhm,
Um, there has to be these fillers to create this experience, right?
sure.
Yeah, I believe like extras in a movie.
Yeah,
They're extras in your movie.
yeah,
And having those glitches in the matrix and those breakdowns or those phenomena that you get to capture and experience is is it an ascension symptom? No. Is it, can it afford you the opportunity to expand your awareness and lead you to an ascension?
Mhm.
Sure, if you
Yeah.
choose, you know.
I have okay, my the oldest child since we've lived here is 23, right? Yeah, 23. So, 23 years I have lived here. I have never, not one time, ever seen anybody bring groceries into their home. Never. Never. Not one time. That's weird when you think about it. That's weird.
Yeah, that's
Ex-
actually an interesting point.
yeah, 23 years, never seen it. Does that mean anything? No, it's interesting. That's how I look at things. Everything is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know the neighbor that lives on either side of us across the street. Um, don't really know any of the other neighbors, but I can, after reflecting on this whole
Mm-hmm.
thing, I can tell you 8 people that are in this block here and block across, I have never seen. I don't even know what they look like. I have no idea. Their car is
Yeah,
always in the driveway. I don't know who they are. I haven't the slightest idea.
yeah.
Interesting in 23 years. It's extremely interesting. You know, so I don't know.
Yeah, so I think, I start to think with that, like, again, my life motto is, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's
that's
all.
interesting.
Mhm.
But when I think about stuff like that, because I mean, if you just sit back and just reflect on even individuals watching this or listening to this, take that in your neighborhood. How many people in your neighborhood have you actually um, connected with or spoken to or seen, right? Because the grocery thing is an interesting thing. So I like to, wow, that's interesting. What if, could they be NPCs? Could they be um, just those playing, maybe playing an NPC in your experience, but they're also having their own experience. And maybe they could just come off as an NPC in yours
Yeah.
because they're not intended to. See how my brain just starts like
No, I agree, but
going,
I have
going?
literally asked Spirit when that whole,
Hmm.
when everybody froze. That was really weird.
That, yeah.
That was really, really weird. And I had asked Spirit, my team, I had asked, was that for real? Were those people real?
Hmm.
And the response, and you got to know my team in order to love this, was it real for you?
I love a question with a question.
And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm asking you. You know,
Right.
it did that for realsies happen? Was that a thing? Why did that happen? And then it's just, was it real for you?
Hmm.
I think the actual response was from your perception, was that real for you? I'm like, you're still not clarifying it, like for real, you know? Um, which led me to my own, perception of just that. What we perceive, we believe, and what we believe
Hmm.
becomes our reality. So if I perceive that this is going to happen all the time, I'm going to see this happen all the time, it will. And I tested that theory. And it will. And if you let that notion go away and you just chuck it up as to, okay, that's very interesting, it's not going to happen half as much,
Oh yeah.
you
That's
know?
funny you say you tested that theory because
I did.
I
Yeah.
didn't talk to you about this, but I did the same thing. So
Oh, okay.
I was like, let's have some fun, right? So
That was me. I'm like, I want to see this. I want to touch.
I was
That's
like,
how my
let's
brain
have
works. Yeah.
let's have some fun. And I took, you know how, and I'm sure we've talked about this in previous episodes with manifestation and co-creation, right? Universe.
Yeah.
And we say, you know, show me how amazing and wonderful my day can be and get, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I took that and applied it to uh, glitches and phenomena in the matrix.
Hmm.
And so same notion, just applied it. Let's see, just for fun, how many glitches or weird phenomena we can experience, And it's funny because even the time where the drive-through and experience, I do the same thing with my team of, riddle me this, Batman. Explain yourself. What was
Lame.
that?
Yeah.
And I get I fucking a lot of times I get a question with a question. What was that? Did I just experience an NPC? And they're like, did you experience an
Yeah.
NPC?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much
And
fun. It's so much fun.
I'm like, I have to think if I'm a sarcastic asshole, probably my team is going to be comprised of
Yeah.
sarcastic assholes because
Yeah.
loving sarcastic
Yeah.
assholes because I'm a special kind of breed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah, it was. Did you?
yeah.
What do you think that was? And I'm like, that is not an answer.
Yeah. And usually when my team does that, they're like, that's because it's something they want me to
Hmm.
explore with themselves and find the
Yeah.
answer to. Which is just so wonderful, frustrating at this exact same time, you know? Um, but yeah, I mean, I've done everything that I can do to ask or seek information to acknowledge. I do absolutely believe that these are phenomena, experiences. I believe every single person that is saying they have seen or experienced that, there's no doubt in my mind that they are, but I believe it's just seeing through the illusion.
Hmm.
So if you have experienced it or will experience it, I encourage you to just enjoy it. Just look at the magic around you.
Hmm.
Get it, so caught up that you're like in that mode of fear of like, oh, because I feel like a lot of people are doing that. There's a lot of fear surrounding
Oh
it.
gosh.
People
When
are
that stuff's
lying to
when that
us.
stuff's happening and then they have like the end time talk
Oh,
and all of this stuff all at the same time, it's just like all you're producing. Number one, that's not right.
yeah,
It's we're not no, we're not at the end times. We're
no,
at the end of a
cycle.
cycle. We're at the end of a way of being, and we're moving into a new way of being, but
Mhm.
we're not going to implode and, be rained upon in that kind of
Yeah,
way.
I know.
That's not for
Yeah,
realsies. But all you're doing is producing fear.
yeah,
And actually, what you probably can possibly be doing is like couple episodes ago when we were talking about psychosis.
yeah,
You could be opening that door and pushing somebody into that
yeah.
way because all you're doing is protruding that
Fear,
fearful mindset.
paranoia, fear.
Yeah.
Um, and I have the ability to look at some really far out there stuff and go, that's very interesting. I'm not going to go, wow, that's happening. And how horrible is that? And oh my
Hmm.
gosh, I have this fear. I think it's very interesting. I think there's magic all around us.
Hmm.
I live it, breathe it every moment of every day, and I enjoy it. And I find it wonderful when we have those moments of experiencing it in our reality. But no way, shape, or form does that affect me having to pay my mortgage. Still got to cook dinner tonight, you know? Um,
Oh, I like those comments of like, oh, so are we done paying bills now?
yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
nope,
not really. Not really. Not yet.
no.
But yeah, I do feel like it is an interesting thing to experience. I do think, just like how now it's revealed both of us independently challenged,
Yeah,
without disclosing to one another, independently challenge
yeah,
this notion. And it really is, I like the point that you just made of, it is just showing you the magic that's around you
yeah,
and possibilities. And I think if you were to just even look at it in that way, just imagine like the magic you can create within with
yeah,
intention, you
yeah.
know?
I believe the law of attraction applies in everything we do. And
Hmm.
if I can utilize the law of attraction to manifest what I want into my life, right?
Hmm.
Whether that's
Right?
abundance, whether that is friendships or relationships or whatever, fill in the blank.
Hmm.
You can still use those same principles in order to manifest these magical
Hmm.
experiences. And in my brain, that's how I label them, magical experiences in reality, right? So if I focus on any one thing, if you focus on, oh, spirit is giving me a sign, spirit is giving me a sign, we're going
Hmm.
to keep giving you signs because that's where your attention, your power
Right.
is in your attention and awareness. That's why mindfulness is so important. So if we are giving our attention to, I am intentionally seeking out the opportunities to be aware of these glitches, lack of a better term,
Hmm.
you're going to notice them a hell of a lot more. It's,
Oh yeah.
that's just the reality where you put your attention at, you're going to find it. If I'm looking for pennies all day long, I'm going to find pennies all day long, you know?
Hmm. Well, it's just
So,
the same thing too with like when we were talking about development and the yellow car theory, right? The yellow car exercise.
yeah.
So your attention has now gone to, coupled with your intention
Mhm.
of seeing that yellow car. And I had a few people reach out to me who took that exercise we talked about and
Mhm.
started applying it and in their date, just in their commute. And were amazed at how they had um, started to get a little disappointed because getting closer to destination and really wasn't seeing anything, and then turned in and boom, there it was. And oh my gosh, like that's so crazy that happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, see, now you recognize the potential of your power.
Yeah.
Soon as you apply it and you move deeper with it,
Mhm.
same thing with like seeing the glitches and in the matrix and having these magical experiences. I'm gonna use that from now on.
Yeah.
Magical
I know, right?
experiences, you know, it just goes to show you, wow, look at what can happen, the possibility if you apply it internally on your own path and you stay and focus on your own lane, right?
Yeah. I think it's pretty magical that I can sit in this space and I can mentally project to another space and describe that space to you. That's pretty magical. Is that a
Mm-hmm.
glitch? It's magic. It's a magical experience um under my definition. I
Mm-hmm.
also believe that more and more um people are becoming aware, more people are looking up in the sky than they ever have in my lifetime that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are like, this has never looked like this before. That has never looked like that before. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? And again, I think it's, just wonderful. The universe is like giving you exactly what you're looking for. It's
Hmm.
always giving you what you're looking for, what you want, what you desire, the universe will give you.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's how I look at it, you know.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I do feel like it's cool experiences, but just like with anything, don't allow it to distract you
sure.
from, your path, and take it grain of salt. Take it
Yeah.
with a grain of salt. I think, have fun with it. You know,
I didn't
wow, you
like,
see something, you're like, wow.
yeah. I've never publicly like showed pictures or anything.
Hmm.
I've shared them with you and a few people,
Yeah.
that are shaman in our group, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. It's so wonderful. And that's how I really pose it to you when it happens. How wonderful is that? How cool is
Hmm.
that it happened? And there's no harm whatsoever by exploring that within yourself and saying, well, how does that make me feel? Do I have
Hmm.
fear in regards to that? Or do I find that so wondrous? Do I find that magical? Do I find that interesting?
Hmm.
Like find that within yourself
Oh
before
yeah.
you kind of fall down that rabbit hole and go, oh, what is
Right.
happening in the world? And
Yeah. I think I believe that everything leads to a potential in your experience. So you know, if you have experienced a glitch in the matrix, or any phenomena that you can't logically explain, it leads the great potential to question that within yourself. And if you are triggered, like you just said, with a fear-based thing where it did prod something, that's an excellent thing to then take and question again, still with like that student's seat and student's mindset. That an interesting thing of, why did you have that fear? Is it breaking free from a limiting belief that you hold? And explore that instead of feeding into the fear stuff, the
yeah,
fear mongering, stuff like that.
there's a totist story, lore, legend, whatever you want to call it, where there was a man who literally decided he's going to go up in this cave, he's going to rock himself in where he can't get out. There's no light, there's no nothing. He's there and he's doing this for spiritual evolutionary
Mm-hmm.
purposes.
Mm-hmm.
He was dedicated, I'll give him that. And he said that he made his entire hand go through a wall, and there's actually a handprint on that wall. There's tons of documentation. I'm sure you can Google it.
Mm-hmm.
Guy puts hand through wall, Teotis, to look it up. There's got to be something out there. And there were so many people like, oh no, there's no way, there's no way. Yeah, there is. And there was a lot of conversations with him and how he did it and why can't he do it in front of all these people. And he said, I had to get to a space of where everything and nothing were the same, and that I was everything and nothing. And in shamanism, we kind of view
Mm-hmm.
that as to be true. We are
Yeah.
all everything and nothing. And I believe that that is the space in which we can interact with the universe to make change.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I look at that as this space of total neutrality,
Yeah.
where you were all but nothing. Everyone but no one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
And
Yeah, I agree with that.
I feel that that's what we're seeing with these experiences.
Hmm.
The universe is telling you you are everything and nothing. What do you choose today? What do you choose to see? What do you choose to interact with? What do you choose? And I've said this for so long, this is our playground. What do you want to do while you're here? If you don't like the
Hmm.
characters in your show, get rid of them. Get people that are going to
Right.
support you and be a blessing within your path. And I still stand by that. And I think the universe is just continuing to support that theory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard someone explain their parent used to tell them for the longest time, ever since they were little, whenever situations are going on or, whatever it is, their parent used to always say, so get out of the story.
Hmm.
As simple as that. Get out of the story.
Hmm.
Why are you still in it? Change your story then.
Yeah.
Um, I think everything that happens and all the experiences that the collective is going through is amazing and fascinating. And it's all opening these doors of potential in our own alignment, in our own magic experiences.
Yeah.
So, I think it's fantastic. I think it is part of the collective rise in consciousness and awareness, and you create your own reality. I think we're getting more and more examples of that with
Yeah.
these experiences.
And
Oh
if you
yeah.
guys have had any of these experiences, we'd love to hear about
Oh
them.
yeah, let us
We'd
know.
love, we'd love, send us an email of your experience. We'll read them in our
Hmm.
next podcast. I just think it's wonderful. I think it's really great.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that it's also very challenging in this day and age for a lot of, just because the way that our technology is evolving.
Hmm.
I think this is for the first time in human history, people are really doubting what they see.
Oh yeah. And I feel like, people there, I feel like there are way more experiences that are occurring, but people are afraid to share their experience or come forward with
Oh,
it
sure.
because we're going through that, also that transition of, and we've talked about this privately too before, of how conspiracy theorists were always, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And now with all of this occurring and the breakdown of structures and the veil being removed, truth and authenticity
Hmm.
coming forward, are they really conspiracy? Would you still label them conspiracy theorists in that same way? And, I feel like, again, it even feeds into the advancement of technology and questioning
Yeah.
that, coupled with the social media presence and, looking at things, if is that real? Is that fake? Are they really, and it can absolutely lead into doubt. It can open the door to fear.
Mhm.
But I would love, if you're listening or watching this and you've had experiences, if you don't feel like commenting on the public platform, send either of us an email about your story,
Yeah.
what you've experienced. Absolutely.
Well, we can leave it anonymous, or,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to include your name, we'll include your name, whatever works for you. But I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating. I think it really does support um that our everything around us is so, and I don't have a better word or a definition. So I like the word magic. I
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it's so
I'm gonna start using,
magical.
I'm stealing that
Yeah.
from you.
Yeah.
Magic. Yeah.
It's just so magical. Um, so many awesome experiences, but it's nothing to be afraid of. I that's really the point I want to put across is there's nothing to fear. The world's not ending. It's just really cool, dude. And the more you let the dogma and the any limiting perceptions, once you let that go, because I think that's what people have, they have this limited perception of the sun will come up, the clouds are
Mhm.
blue, or the sky is blue, the clouds are white, and the sun is yellow. And when you start to experience magenta and brown and orange, and you're like, it's never looked like this before.
Mhm.
Have you let go some of those limiting beliefs to allow yourself to perceive something different, something other
Mhm.
than that limiting belief?
Oh yeah,
fun. It's fun,
absolutely.
you know, it's fun.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah,
cool. I think on that note, we will call it an episode. Unless you have any other
oh
final
man,
thoughts, I
no.
think that's a good spot to end on. So we hope you appreciate this conversation that went a little bit all we crossed
I went
over a little
over.
bit. That's all right. That's our style. But if this resonated with you or somebody you know, we always appreciate the energetic exchange of liking, sharing, and commenting, or sending us private emails if you want to stay anonymous of your story of any experiences you've had, glitches in the matrix, weird phenomena, NPC, anything. We're here for it. We love to indulge in all experiences. It's, again, fascinating. It's interesting, fascinating with all of it. So until then, we will catch you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.